What up? How's it going? So, we on the fourth episode. The Chief State Counsel. I thought he was out of here, right? But the physician, she's doing what she has to do. Yeah, I didn't want her to keep him alive, but she needs to find a cure, right? That's their thing. That's the oath that they take. It's interesting that it didn't affect him the same way it affects everybody else. And not that it just didn't affect a certain person the way it affected everybody else. The fact that it didn't affect him, I wonder if there's a deeper reason that they're going to find out why it didn't affect him. And I'm talking about the Chief State Counsel. Yeah, man, the Crown Prince, aka the rightful king, he's in an interesting situation because the person he trusted the most for a while now, he kind of figured that he was lying to him, and for it to be confirmed and for him to now be dead, it's like, dang, the most disloyal person, but also the person who you trusted the most is a goner. And then we have his wife. I hope that the Crown Prince is able to protect her. And I'm assuming they're using her son as the one. And I want to know how that has worked out. I'm pretty sure that's going to go into next season. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get this started. Episode 4. So we in the past. Hey, we know he like food. That's like the first thing we find out about him. Ew.
저하, 감히 저하의 다가상에 손을 댄 죄 죽어 마땅하오나 나이 40 넘어 무과에 급제할 때까지 통촉하여 주시옵소서.
진정, 내 안사람에게 주었느냐?
예, 저하. 어찌 저하께 거짓을 고하겠사옵니까? 그럼 앞으로도 계속 내어주시겠다는 말씀이십니까? 뭐든 제가 드릴 수 있는 건 다 드리겠사옵니다.
내 곁에 있거라.
이 기사로서 전하의 곁을 지키는 것은 당연한 것입니다.
Oh, and in the intro, I said he wasn't loyal to him, but I should have reworded that.
영상대감이시다. 성문을 열거라.
병세가 위중합니다. 어서 환자를 옮겨야 합니다. 불은 온도 때문이라면 물은 왜 그리도 무서워했던 걸까요?
Ew. So it's worms that infect? You literally gotta drown the people to heal them.
중전마마 왕자마마의 탄생을 경화드립니다. 경화드립니다.
좌익의 나리의 말씀 맞았습니다. 모두 만삭의 인부들입니다.
인산부 7명이 죽고 갓나은 여아 시신들이 발견됐습니다. 범인이 누군지 왜 그런 끔찍한 일을 저질렀는지 밝혀지진 않았지만 확실한 건 중궁전과 이 사건이 관련돼 있으며
용상대감 세제에선 언제 올라오신 것입니까?
He about to have all of them killed, probably.
나아가 이 나라의 왕실과 종묘사직을 우롱한 불경죄로 어영대장을 참해야 마땅할 것입니다.
Royal Commandery.
세제로 내려간 훈련대장과 훈련도관 병사들이 대역죄인 창에게 넘어갔어요. 대역죄인과 뜻을 같이한 그들 역시 대역죄인, 그들의 가족과 친척들, 그리고 삼족을 부대 참시에 이견 있으십니까?
Well, not at this very moment, I don't.
말 조심하거라. 큰아버님이 얼마나 무서운 사람인지 모르느냐.
Yo, too close for comfort, man.
어찌 되었느냐?
고비는 넘겼으나 충격이 크신 듯합니다. 근데 저분은 누구십니까?
좌익이의 가족이다.
Yeah.
이것이 무엇이냐?
충증입니다.
Ew.
생사초에 붙은 이 흰 것은 이
She
벌레의
did
알입니다.
say that.
이것이 사람 몸속에 들어가 충으로 부화해 죽은 자를 되살린 것입니다.
사람들을 죽이고 경상 땅을 뒤엎고 이 나라의 왕실을 뒤흔는 것이 고작
Yeah. That's like to think about that. It's
작은
like
벌레였어.
it probably would have been easier to take that it was a flower, and I'm not even sure why.
이 은여가 큰아버님을 살렸습니다. 공이 매우 크니 그 청을 받아들여 주십시오.
마침 충전마마를 뵈러갈 참이었는데
Yo,
잘 되었다.
this man turned mad grim.
원자입니다. 건강하고
This episode seems so eerie.
원자예요.
Like even how she just said that was creepy.
잘하셨습니다. 감히 대역죄를 지은 세자의 편을 들다니 죽어 마땅한 죄인들입니다.
그들은 창을 잡을 미끼에 불과하다. 진짜 죽을 죄를 지은 죄인은 따로 있지. 출산을 하느라 건강을 해쳤을
I thought he was gonna say.
진맥을 받아보도록 하거라. 진맥을 해보라 하였다.
What?
아버님,
It seems like he's going to try to question her and see if she's lying by checking the pulse. I don't know.
산맥이 잡히질 않습니다.
그것이 무엇을 뜻하느냐?
I don't know why. I thought he already knew that. I did not realize that he didn't know that. I just assumed that he was in on the plan.
낳으면 되는 것 아닙니까? 아들을 낳을 것입니다. 그리하면 됩니다.
설마 거짓 회임이라도 하겠다는 것이냐? 궁궐의 수많은 눈과 귀를 어찌 속이겠다는 것이냐? 말도 안 되는 생각 집어치우고 다시 회임할 수 있도록.
회임을 한 뒤에는 전하도 제 몸에 손을 댈 수 없습니다. 중궁전을 지키는 내금이와 궁녀들, 그리고 우리만 입을 다문다면 가능합니다.
넌 어렸을 때부터 그랬다. 정성이 간악하고 교활했으며 어리석기 그지없었지. 내가 만들려는 나라는 그런 나라가 아니다. 강화도에 유배됐던 노성군의 후손이 살아있다. 반개 중에 반개이나 저 천한 것보단 낫겠지.
Yeah. He's made that clear how he feels about nobility. Like, he don't care nothing about no low-born people.
일을 하는 모든 사람들, 중궁전 상궁들, 내거미들, 그리고 이 은여까지 다 죽을
Oh,
것이다.
shit. I'd have been like, what the fuck? You brought me here.
그리고 난 아기를 잃은 슬픈 대비가 되어 서궁에 유폐되어
She poisoned him with the tea. She poisoned her pops.
아버님께서는
I knew she had something for him.
핏줄이 아닌 나이를 절대 인정하지 않으실 것이다.
I knew she would turn on him, but I didn't realize he didn't know. But I should have known.
그 하찮았던 계집아이가 이제 모든 것을 가질 것입니다.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. The way it played out, though, I didn't see coming. I knew she had a problem with how he was talking to her. You could just see it in her face.
전하도 돌아가시더니 영상대감까지 역병으로 돌아가셨네.
이 나라도 이제 끝이야.
Who are they? Are they just randoms? You shouldn't let nobody that highborn ever fish. Yo, I thought he was about to swing on him. He said, "You, mother."
찾고 있으라니까. 당숙,
지금 뭐라 하셨어?
촌수를 따져보니 제게 당숙벌이더군요.
그쪽 피나 내 피나 저 아래 저작거리 천민의 피나 그저 다 붉은 피일 뿐이오.
이 나라에선 그 피가 중요합니다. 내 가족들의 얘기를 들었다. 가족의 복수를 위해 나를 쫓은 것 아니냐. 이제 스승님도 조학주도 자신들의 죗값을 받았다.
Right?
그런데
You're free to go. But he's not leaving you, sir.
왜 나를 따르는 것이냐?
그들이 죽었어도 사는 건 똑같습니다. 여전히 배고프고 여전히 개판입니다.
오라버니를 공석이 된 어영대장에 제수하겠습니다.
Oh my god.
내금이와 함께 내 곁에서 나와 원자를 지켜주세요.
Wow. I knew he was going to rise up. Like, you could just see that.
그 은여가 어찌 되었는지
중궁전에는 너희녀가 있어 쓸모가 없을 듯해 사가로 돌려보냈습니다.
She ain't sent her back. She got her locked in a dungeon.
역병 환자에 대해 더 많이 알아내거라.
Okay.
네 스승보다 더 많이 알아내야 할 것이다. 내 아버지가 그러했듯 나도 저것들을 이용해 권세를 누릴 것이다.
First, let me start by saying don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell. Shout out to all the new viewers. Shout out to all the subscribers. So, a few things in this episode happened that I knew were going to take place, right? But I will say there were some things that happened that I just didn't realize. That maybe I was just blind to it. So, as I said at the beginning, I knew that this episode was going to talk about our crown prince attempting to protect his right-hand man's wife, right? And so they did that flashback, and we see, you know, he understood how important the wife was, and so by proxy, she became important to him, especially now that the guard died. When they went back and found her, I was actually surprised, like, oh man, like they really going in, but I shouldn't have been surprised because when he puts his head to it, he'll just be like, I'm going to do this, and then just go do it, right? Then we have the chief state counselor, the physician, and the magistrate. The magistrate, I knew just going into the later parts of this season that, yeah, he's going to rise up the ranks because he's the last male. He's the last man in that family, right? Now, I didn't know if our guy, the chief state counselor, would die this season or if what point he would die, but I just assumed he would die. And when the physician was able to figure it out, right? She was like, fire and water. How could I do this? Something so simple but clever and dope as far as the writing goes. She just put that guy into the water at the risk of drowning him, and them worms came out. Now, they had hinted, I can't remember how many episodes back, but she'd been like, what are these white things on the flower? Like, she stated that. Just forgot about it. You know what I mean? Because as you go through the flow of the show, things happen and your mind goes someplace else. So you're like, what? So for it to be worms, you're like, oh, no wonder certain elements it's afraid of, right? So you're like, damn, I had no idea. Like, I didn't think about that, right? Then we have the chief state counselor. So he gets back and he is on fire. First off, the actors acted his ass off and his voice gets even more, like, as the show is going on, he's got more grim and gruff and, you know, and when he walks in, it's our guy who's on the council, who was cool with the chief of the commandery, and they were attempting to find out about her, and so he comes back like, yo, look, he tells everybody on the council, yo, that's not, I don't have enough proof right now, but I'm telling you that's not her baby. And he starts spitting off some things, and the chief state counselor comes back. Now, he believes in nobility, and we've seen this in past episodes. Like when he talked to Lord An, and Lord An talked about the people, and he was like, the people? I'm worried about keeping, you know, this glorious, you know, hierarchy around. You know what I mean? Like the kingdom. He was worried about that. He was worried about the nobility. He doesn't really care nothing about. They're just pawns to be used, even less than pawns, right? And we see in how he utilized the zombies and how he utilized the people to do work for him. And so he let that be known. So when he comes in, I'm thinking, yo, is he going to kill them in there? Now, he threatened them But that would have taken it too far if he would have just killed everyone on the council, right? So he threatened him, and he let the guy know, hey, the head of the royal commandery, we got to behead him. Then he goes and lets them know the head of the training corps, I believe it was, the training battalion, they joined the crown prince. And everybody's like, what? Why? They still can't comprehend why everybody would do that. And even the guy who suspects what the queen is doing, he just can't imagine why they would turn on what's going on there. He lets them know, like, listen, I want y'all to get together, all the family members of all those members of that battalion or whatever, and they're to be executed. So then the magistrate and the physician, they go and talk to him. She's like, she would like to be the physician for the queen. That's after she had spoken with our heroes or whatever, right? So she could get closer and learn a little bit more, because she has her suspicions about the same thing. The chief state counselor goes, good, I was going there anyway. And he brings her in to check the pulse. And I'm like, check the pulse? Is he going to see if she's lying? But I couldn't understand what he was checking to see if she was lying about, because I did not realize the chief state counselor did not know that she was pulling this off. And then when I look back, I'm like, oh, of course. He wouldn't want somebody lowborn. You know, as much as we look at him as a scumbag, everything he did was honesty. Like, he honestly was a scumbag. So he didn't mess with her. And we knew from the beginning, he would say little things about her, about the queen, that he didn't rock with her because she was a girl. Well, that she was a woman. But the way she said it, she said, as a girl, that's how you see me, right? And we saw how angry he got about the brother and all that. So it let us know certain things. And so when he goes off on her, I'm like, oh, shit, man. Like, he's like, we killing everybody, including the physician. And I'm like, the physician's looking like, you asked me to be here. So she checks the pulse and all that, and all that happens. And then he walks away, and it immediately hit me when he starts coughing. Oh, he's poisoned. She gave him the tea. Didn't even realize that. But here's the thing. I knew she was going to turn on him. I didn't know she was going to poison him or maybe even kill him. But I knew she was going to turn on him. Even when they weren't in the same scenes, even when they weren't in the same cities, and she was just waiting on a baby to be born so she could claim it, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, she's changed and she's going to turn on him at some point. So I knew that was going to happen, right? I didn't realize how she was going to do it. Now, what the queen's saying, utilizing the physician and keeping her locked down there, but like, no, you need to study them because I'm going to utilize them like my father did. It's like now they've unleashed a can of worms because she's not a leader. All we know of her right now is that she's a scumbag and she's sleazy because we've seen her do sleazy shit. But as of right now, we don't know if she's actually a good leader. So she can release all this shit and it could go haywire. And as we found out, these worms, it's actual living beings inside of the people. But how are we going to get it out of it? We can't just drown everybody, right? Because they won't go into the water. We're not going to burn everybody because we want to keep them alive. So I want to see how she's going to figure out how to do this, man. Let's go. Next episode.